Today we're talking with June Yoon, Los Angeles-based Korean bilingual voice actor, repped by Vox Inc. You've heard him in the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Genshin Impact, Solo Leveling, Dead by Daylight, Wulong, Fallen Dynasty, Netflix Chicken Nugget, and dozens more. He's a former theater educator turned full-time VO powerhouse who's made it his mission to bring authentic Korean American stories and representation to the forefront, especially after seeing how widely popular and sometimes stereotypical projects like K-pop Demon Hunters get treated. June's walking proof that you can chase a career for pure happiness and still hit the big league. June, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Good to see you.
I will say, June, that I do it from time to time, occasionally have preliminary conversations with some of our guests, but I was really delighted to share some of our experiences with Queen Mary. She is a fabled place in history, and the people who know her love her. And then to learn that you were married there, it was terrific. And I hope I shared some keen few insights that maybe the average person might not know.
It's a near and dear place to my and my wife's hearts, and it's something that we will treasure for the rest of our lives and the history and children and generations to come after. I love that ship.
Yeah, it's a magical ship, and it's just been through so much. And when she first set her maiden sail, it was like a who's who of Hollywood and royalty was on that boat waving off the gangplanks. So I'd like to speak with you a little bit about your journey from where you started and where you are now. And you've obviously still got some big plans yet that you haven't even tackled. You studied theater originally. And how has that background in theater and directing influenced your work as voiceover and ADR?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's on stage or in front of a camera or a microphone inside a booth, acting is acting.
Mm-hmm.
Characterization is acting. It's telling a story to which we bring ourselves and our authenticities into the story. And that, in turn, I think makes it special, individual, and unique.
Mm-hmm.
No two actors are alike. You would
Mm-hmm.
agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the selection of the casting and the individual history and influences that each actor brings into the story enhances and elevates and turns it into a collaborative effort of mutual storytelling that audiences can resonate with.
It's no surprise that you were sought after for your voice because it resonates and it's a character in and of itself.
Indeed. And in the individualism that I bring with my own history, I think elevates these stories, and I'm grateful for the selection.
You've mentioned that happiness is a key motivator in your career. How do you reconcile the pursuit of joy with the competitive and high-pressure world of entertainment?
I think the competitiveness is dealt with or dealt by my expression of happiness and my authentic experience living through this craft as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly there are actors out there who's doing this for a job, and that's totally okay, of course. But I think a lot of those, and those who resonate with what I'm saying, will find happiness in their self-awareness as an actor. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the driving motivator of their career and of their journey so far. Mm-hmm. So competitiveness, difficulty in the industry, all mitigated. I really organically believe so. By leaning into your happiness, those things will resolve by themselves.
Well, the producers shared prior to us speaking that your enthusiasm and your passion was evident just the minute you start speaking, and it is. And of course, when you approach a project like that, it shows, it reads, and it goes to authenticity. And since you may be the voice for an anime character, the authenticity of that voice goes a lot to establishing that relationship with the viewer. So I can see how that works well. Mentoring and teaching, while still pursuing your own goals and your ever-expanding career, mentoring and teaching seem to be a recurring theme in your work. What's the most surprising insight you've had when coaching others in voice acting?
The idea that there's a lot to learn still to this day. And educators listening, of some context, educators listening will resonate with this. There's a lot that gets revealed about you when you start teaching. The things that you learn and the things that you become aware of as you instruct others and to support others in this capacity. I've learned a lot about myself as an actor, as an educator, as a person, as a human, which I believe brings me and allows me to bring the authenticity that I have to the characters I play.
Mm-hmm. So as a Korean American, how has your personal journey shaped the types of stories or characters that you're drawn to in voice acting?
Ah, goodness. If I could play every Korean character ever created, I would love to, but I don't control casting, obviously. But
Mhm,
when I am provided that opportunity to fully represent my culture and ethnicity, I'm always proud and grateful to do so. And
mhm,
I think by bringing on a Korean talent for a Korean character, there's an innate resonance and the representation of ourselves in the media that other folks and other kids, children especially, can look to and go, wow, that guy looks like my dad. That guy looks like me, my uncle.
mhm,
My future, perhaps in the world of acting, could happen, maybe.
mhm.
And the next generation always have to come up, right?
Right,
And there has to be some sort of a motivator or a catalyst or an inspiration has to exist. And I
right, right.
think I would love to serve in that role. And I think I'm doing it.
Groundbreaker, the Asian actress who just won Best Actress for the first time 2 years ago. I mean, she speaks often about being a groundbreaker for other young Asian actresses and opening up doors. Was there ever a role that you saw that wasn't particularly supposed to be a Korean character, but you said, "Gosh, I could have done wonders with that role."
I try to live life without regrets in this way.
Okay, good point. Good point. Goes to character that's been described. Since you're so involved, you've got your hands and your talents and your skills in so many different kinds of media and anime and video games and audio productions. How do you decide which one aligns most with your work, or are you just a open gate and whatever comes at you, you just embrace and you're like, I'm going for it?
I like driving, Jeff. Doesn't matter what the car is.
Excellent, excellent question. Well, that's the kind of passion that's like innate. It's not something you curate or you either have it or you don't. So I
Correct.
can totally appreciate that. I see that you're aspiring to open a brick and mortar studio in LA in the next 15 years. So is that to host production of other actors, and will that transform your daily job from actor to business administrator? How do you see that?
Oh God, no. 15 is an arbitrary number. It's
I
certainly a goal and a hope that I have for the future, but I would love to indeed have a studio in Burbank here in Los Angeles where I can bring in clients and actors and do
Mhm,
work.
mhm.
Provide opportunities for actors to come up, to teach, of course, in the
Right,
space,
right.
to be a part of various productions that elevates actors and tell stories as the existing clientele and studios currently do. I want to jump into that fray and make my mark in history.
That's fantastic. I love that. In your social posts, you emphasize play and stepping into a character's boots. Now, this is something I love to talk about. Can you share a recent moment when an unexpected life experience directly informed a character you were voicing and their response to a situation, perhaps?
If you'll allow me, I'm going to just modify that just a little bit. I
Sure,
recently
sure.
played this character named Yiptak in the game Genshin Impact, where I played the character of a father of his son, Gaming, who is an avid dancer. And the son wants to be a dancer, and he's very good at it, and discussions happen, and he's left home because of it, and all the stuff happened, while he wants his son to take over his business. The timeless clash of father and son, family business, that story.
Hmm.
But that story is more prevalent in the Asian cultures than anywhere else in the world. Isn't that interesting?
Well, is that because Asian families are known for respecting the elderly and,
A
you know,
1,000%.
right, exactly.
Indeed. And to go against the family business, oh
Hmm.
my goodness,
Hmm.
and to have taken part in that story as a dad character, to speak with the character Gaming in the video game, certainly did not feel like I was acting in a video game. I tell folks, the director in the studio, myself, and other folks who ask about that job, that role, that game, I did not act in that role. I said those lines to my son. I have two kids. I said those lines to my son and gave them the permission to be who they are, to pursue their happiness. And
Right.
that depth of resonance, I think because it resonated so deeply with me personally, resonated with the general Asian community who plays that video game.
Hmm.
Letter after letter, email after email, stream after stream, I was met with a flood of feedback about their resonances, their stories from other Asian creators who went through that experience of going against the family wishes, if you will.
Wow, how
And my
fantastic.
goodness, it was an experience of a lifetime.
So you really reached a lot of people. That's great. That's great. Let me circle back to a little bit I touched on earlier. I mean, your voice clearly is meant for voiceover. It's got such a beautiful timbre to it. Do you find that you're often like the good, sympathetic dad, like you just described, or have you been a mean guy? Have you been a murderer or anything?
I don't know if I'm allowed to plug on here, but on Hulu, there's a show called Blackout. If you turn on the English dubbing, English version of that, I play the main antagonist, who is also a father who does some very evil things.
Okay, was that fun, or did you finish the scene and say, "Oh, I want to go wash off. That guy was so evil and mean. I don't want him part of me anymore."
On the inside, I enjoy playing the wholesome dads. I really do. But every now and then, playing those antagonists who do these unthinkable, immoral things is also a lot of fun. Because I think we fully know it's not real, right? It's a fictitious realm. And to be in that state of mind and mindset and the characterization of an antagonist in that way, who do unspeakable evil things, I think is a lot of fun as an actor.
Right. I mean, you get to get your yayas out and be scandalous and despicable, and yet you're really not. So at the end of the day, you still go home
Maybe
and
I
take
am.
out the garbage. Maybe you are. Now, this is interesting too, because this sort of harkens back to a bit about what we've just spoke about. You've spoken about wanting to bring authentic representation of Korean culture to your work. So you just spoke about, part of the authentic Korean culture, I would imagine, is the respect for the elders and the following the family footsteps. But you just played a role where you were sort of counter culture and encouraging your son to do what felt good, which would, maybe perceived by many as a very American perspective. I just want what's best for you kind of thing. So how do you balance those things when there are shifts and tides and in cultural perspectives?
By fully realizing that these are stories of human beings, no
Right.
matter what country or ethnicity. And indeed, the stereotypical presumption of the Asian culture when it comes to family and these sorts of things would be that, indeed, the
Mhm.
fact of the matter is it's 2025. And the progression of society and the approval from the family unit about one's pursuit and their children's dreams is not a stereotypical mind frame anymore,
Right.
perhaps. And
Right.
that evolution to be reflected in a current video game or animation, that to be reflected in that way. And we've
Mhm.
seen many examples of this. Imagine K-pop Demon Hunters as one,
Mhm.
certainly. Turning Red is another one by Pixar. And there are countless others that illustrate the current progression of the current generation and the youth who are revolting against the traditional stereotypes of what Asian familial relationship is.
Right. Well, I think youth revolt is sort of a universally understood concept.
And we understand that as well, don't we?
Right.
Indeed.
Exactly. What are some of the current things you're working on that you're really excited about?
The stuff that I can say, I'm under NDA for many of these things, as you could imagine. One of the more recent roles that was announced by me is a Korean drama that I've dubbed into English as one of the characters called Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. A Korean drama, originally from Korea, and I played the role of a head chef in the palace kitchen. There's a
Mhm.
word for that escaping me. I'm a foodie. I love food. I
Perfect.
love cooking, the kitchen, and the zany quirkiness of this character resonated with me so closely. It was a blast to play that character. Huge thanks to Jay Kim, my director, and everybody else involved. It was such a fun show to work on.
So zany. So was it a comedic role? Would you describe it?
Half and half, I would
Yeah.
say. It certainly is a comedic vibe to it.
Mhm.
I'm going to spoil for you just a little bit.
Okay. Fair enough.
A professional chef of 2025 gets transported back to the Joseon dynasty of Korea.
That's a lot to
Oh,
digest.
man.
Right.
Indeed.
I want to learn a little bit more about your teaching and, maybe this brick and mortar studio, maybe not, but, you've said you've enjoyed mentoring and teaching. Have there been any experiences that really, at the end of the day, after working with a particular student, just like really made a mark on you and said, I did it, I got through, and this one really worked?
I tell this story often whenever I'm asked. Throughout my theater education career, I would often assign the entire production, the actors as well as the technical aspect of a theater production to all of my students. If they can't do the job, then I haven't done my job, right?
Hmm.
Night of the production, I'm standing in the corner with my arms crossed. Maybe taking notes about the actors, certainly, but everybody else is doing their thing. And at the end of the night, a successful production that goes top to bottom with minimal hiccups and other recovery items. And as we sit at the end of the show and audiences have left, that moment, that silence that sits where we get to look at each other and go, we did it, that light bulb, collective sigh perhaps, is something that's also seen in voiceover coaching, voice acting community. And anytime the colleagues that I advise and actors I work with succeed in this capacity, whether it's a successful audition that they felt good about for the first time, whether it's a first role they've booked, their first IMDb record, they make a point to come back to say, tell me about the things that they've done via DMs and emails and in-person communications. And the pride that I feel is resonating at the same frequency as that moment in the theater where we get to sit with that sensation of having done something really cool, something really amazing in this way.
So in visual acting and on stage or in film, the rule of thumb is never stop studying. Never stop studying. Either you're working on a project or you're studying. Tell us a little bit about how voiceover actors stay in touch with their craft. I mean, are you always studying when you're not working?
Indeed, the day that you stop studying and honing the craft that you're in is the day that you start stagnating.
Right.
And this industry is competitive enough. There is no luxuries afforded to those who are not willing to advance their career or study their craft.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I have to say, you are exactly the way they described you, a bundle of enthusiasm and passionate about what you do. I am going to follow you so I can get my eyes and ears, I guess I should say, on some of your work. And I can't wait to see it and see what you did in the past and where you're going now. It's
And the same to you. Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Thank you so much for joining.